So I've hit a bit of a milestone. Got to 500 subs. So for a lot of channels, that's nothing. But for a channel that started off um, with no intention of ever growing and just kind of messing around with some video editing and uploading it, and one day I started in with the nuclear war simulator and made some videos about, or made a video about that, and suddenly a lot of people started watching and commenting and liking and subscribing. And since then, I've made a varied content. And I'd made a push last year because to qualify for monetization, it kind of was a challenge to me because I got the watch time, but you need 1,000 subs. So I tried to push towards that goal, but then just work and other stuff. I, I didn't have the motivation to really attempt that, and it's not something I wanted to take serious. I mean, and outside of work, I get lazy sometimes. That's why I got this terrible mustache thing growing on. Drives my wife nuts too. She hates it. It looks ridiculous. I get it. But since then, I kind of hit this 500 mark, and I'm like, well, I finally got to that halfway point. My goal is never to make money from this. It's really about just seeing if I can, people want to watch and keep watching, so I keep making content. And so hit the 500. It's kind of a bit of a milestone there. And so my last video for the simulation videos was what would happen if the conflict between Israel and Iran escalated and the United States crossed nuclear threshold against Iran. It's far fetched one. I mean, the likelihood of that happening, but I always said in the video, these weapons exist, so there's always going to be a possibility because look, you don't have the weapon. You're going to have a plan for a lot of eventualities. So there's no doubt the United States strategically has a lot of plans in place that if they were to do this, this is what it would look like, and this is how they would approach it, because you're not going to have weapons and not have plans to use them. It's inevitable. And so that's very unlikely, but hey, still good to explore because to see how quickly things can escalate. And I showed that one Ohio class nuclear sub, in just a matter of minutes, could cause a loss of life, instantly, basically, not even talking long term, talking 3 million casualties, far exceeding casualties that would happen in years and years and years of warfare. And obviously weighing very heavily towards civilian, even though those were military strikes, they're close enough to civilian centers that, a large portion, majority portion. So in some ways it would be a frightening prospect. But again, or not frightening if that's your sort of thing. And so I said in the video, I wasn't trying to take a stance one way or the other on the Israel-Iran conflict. And, I just leave it at it. If it's blanket one way or the other, it's more nuanced than that. So, doing a little celebration, drink a little beer here, hit the 500 mark. And we just lost our eldest cat. So we have 4 cats until we lost the eldest one, Ginger. And we had 2 cats when me and my wife, who we've been together now 14 years, and when she met me, I had 2 cats. And one of which was from a younger sister who's no longer with us and kind of inherited. The other one, both of them actually came from my grandparents' farm. And so they were just farm cats taken in. But they were taken in young. And so roughly about 2019, well, not roughly about, in 2019, a stray cat in the neighborhood we lived in had a litter, and she'd been around for a while, but one of her babies, kittens, was extremely sick, and had kind of more or less been abandoned. And he was sleeping on our front porch. And so I remember one day my wife went out and cleaned his face and everything, and he was just attached. So if we went outside, he'd follow us around. And so eventually we rescued him and took him in, got him healed up and everything. And then once he was situated and once he was healed and fully recovered, The other two cats, they're both females. They're older. They weren't going to be playmates. The one that just passed away, she didn't like other cats. She was not friendly at all towards other cats. And so he needed a playmate. So we went and rescued a second one. And so we ended up with four cats. And the one, she made it to be 19 years old. And she passed away recently. I posted a little farewell video to her. And let people have their thoughts and ideas. Some people don't like cats, some people love cats or whatever, and can come across as some people like cat people can be very aggressively pro cat. Well, look, they are very important to us, and honestly, in a lot of ways, I'll be the one to say I can feel a stronger connection to an animal sometimes than even other people, and because I think there's just a purity behind that, and I feel bad if someone just said, well, it's just a pet, or it's just a cat, or it's just a dog, or whatever. I don't have a dog. To put that to that level, to me, shows are you really, truly capable of making strong connections with something. Anyway, long story short, so, she passed away. So I posted a video about that. And I had a recent, some stuff with the hobby stuff. So, beyond the simulations and some gaming stuff, beyond the stories of some of my crazy background and things like that, I like to do miniature wargaming and stuff like that. So I have a lot of hobbies, a ton of hobbies. But miniature wargaming is one of them. I really like historical, medieval, and specifically War of the Roses, 100 Years War. So I'm actually working on doing a recreation of Battle of Bloor Heath. And so that's one thing where I've used some paper soldiers that kind of in place as I'm painting the actual miniature ones because it takes a while and I just don't have time. But I'm also doing the scenery for it. So part of it's a hedge. So I just posted a video of these hedges I've been working on. I'm actually going to do a how-to video because I took some experimenting for me. I'd watched some other videos and I tried some different techniques and didn't have a lot of success. So I finally found a way that to me it was very effective and very easy and very quick. So I thought maybe some other people may like it. So I was going to post up a video on that. Point being, my channel has a lot of different content. Not most of it's not any good. Let's be honest, most of it sucks. But at least some people are watching it. Some of the videos I put the most amount of time into, do editing and stuff. Those are the ones nobody ever watches. Like the really simple ones that I'm really not even too much into. Those seem to get the most views and stuff. Like this one here probably won't get a lot of views. Not that I put a lot of effort to it. I'm just literally talking into a microphone like an idiot. But the ones I try to put some time in, did some planning, and everything. It just, I don't know. And look, I mean, some of it's a choice. Like, I like classic Doctor Who. If you know anything about it, you see the Darth Vader behind me, you see the scarf and everything, you might get an idea. And how many people want to watch a video of a review of Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who, it's not going to have a large audience to begin with. And there's already probably 15 people that have done one. And even those probably didn't have a ton of views. But still, I kind of I just want to make the content I want to make anyways. So, hey, whatever. But at some token, you feel less motivated. People aren't actually watching and stuff. You're like, well, do I really want to put all this time into it? And not very many people watch. Or I can do something else that's going to take me less time and more people watch, more people interact and everything. And again, it's not about trying to make money or anything, because I'm not making any money from this, and I'll likely never make any amount of money. If I ever did, it would never be anything worth the amount of time put into it. I have a very good job anyways, and trust me, it's more than okay on that regard. But the point is, the interactions give you the motivation to want to do it. And so, like I said, kind of across the milestone, I want to put out some more videos of various content, but especially along the hobby modeling stuff. It's something I'm just doing a lot right now. And I feel like it's actually worthwhile because you can kind of show people stuff you do. Like me for painting, there's far better painters out there when it comes to miniatures. There's far better probably videos or people put out to do it. But the point is, I'm not a good painter. I have very shaky hands. You see a video putting a PC together, my wife making fun of me about it. But I've found things that kind of work for me to give me a passingly good paint job. it's impressive to people that, aren't the thing. So for me, what about people like me? They don't have a ton of time. They're not going to be super great. They may not have the most steady hands, but they can still get to a good level. That's a good representation on a tabletop. And so I'm kind of going to call it like the Pitiful Painter series and everything. So I'm going to do some of that and everything. And then the model scenery stuff, I may be a little bit better at the model scenery stuff than I am the painting, but all the same, I'm still, you see videos and there's like people that are just ridiculous, Half time I'm like, fuck you, motherfucker. You see something crazy. This guy did a recreation of like castle from Kingdom Come Deliverance, and it's like, what the fuck, you fucking asshole. How can you be that good at it? Truth is, you don't really need to be good at scenery. You just learn tricks and everything, and it's just about of time and discipline and patience. But having said that, there's people like me. They don't have that kind of time. I can't invest that amount of time in it. If I lose interest, I got a little short attention span. So I have to be, for me, it has to be easy and cheap. Because if it's not, then just buy something already done, right? So it's got to be relatively cheap, relatively easy, and it has to work for me. So, with the hedges, I'm going to show, like, I did some stuff with scouring pads, and it would fall under the category of easy, and it would certainly be cheap, but I just wasn't happy with it. I found something else was cheap, easy, and I was far more happy with it. And so that's something I'd like to pass on. Maybe other people be in there. So, anyways, if anybody's watching this video, they probably trailed off and didn't give a shit by now. It seems like outside the nuclear war videos and stuff, most people don't watch that super long. But hey, maybe they will. Maybe this will take off. Maybe I'll have a 5,000 subscriber video at some point, and people will go back and look at the 500 one and say, look at this pitiful motherfucker. So who knows? Don't know what the future tells. All I know is I'm over 500 now. Appreciate it for those who may be subscribed, who may watch, and I'm going to continue growing, continue putting this stuff out. You may see me trail off sometimes. Sometimes my work just gets stressful and everything. And then I go a couple days without shaving and look like a Muppet. But, hey, I'll keep putting the stuff out. So look forward. Thanks, everybody.